Brims at the beach, representing 843. Wearing peakies, swishes, funky brims and more. You see,
Brims at the beach, representing 843. Wearing peakies, swishes, funky brims and more.
That's me.
What's up, everybody? It's Brian with Brims at the Beach, and we're coming at you with an extra special week this week. We're doing unboxings of all Sterkowskis all week. And we're going to start out by absolutely just swinging for the fences. So I was very, very lucky. As you all know, there was a couple drops here in the last week or so from Sterkowski, but one that I don't know that has been this highly touted in some time. And that was around the G.O.A.T denim, the Japanese denim products that they were actually releasing and dropping. And there was two products that they were doing. Was the Buster Heavyweight and their Shelby version of the Heavyweight, and both in the G.O.A.T denim. So as soon as that thing dropped, everybody was out there grabbing it. There was some questions about when it was dropping. I think everybody was looking and hitting refresh and just super anxious for that thing to happen. But I was lucky enough to get my hands on one. And we're going to review that for you today. So the one that I'm going to be working on and reviewing with you all today is the Buster, which is the flat cap version of the G.O.A.T Heavyweight Japanese denim. But just a little bit, I mean, there's been a lot of conversation around, the price points on these, because these were just a premium hat. I mean, Sterkowski in itself is a premium hat maker, but this one I think was sort of taking it to the next level. And there was a couple messages out there. Big shout out to the big Sterkowski group. And again, I always appreciate the information that gets delivered in those groups, especially that one. And Stanley, I think himself even went out and kind of put a little mention out there talking about, and I'm going to read a little bit of this because I think it's good for those of you who aren't in the big Sterkowski group. But he wanted to Stanley. This was directly from Stanley Sterkowski, and it was called the Heavyweight. First, thank you. We know a lot of people waited a long time for this one, and you waited patiently. The Heavyweight drop is finally here. We hope you like this small drop. It took us a while because we wanted to get it right. From the start, the idea was to give you more than just another drop. We build it on real things: authentic G.O.A.T denim from Japan, real boxers, and people who actually fight from the Warsaw School of Boxing. We're from Warsaw, after all. It felt right to tell this story with our own people. The whole Sterkowski team puts honest work into this one. These aren't caps run off a line by machinists. The cloth is cut by a cutter, the caps are sewn by our seamstresses, and the work didn't stop at the bench, the shoot, the lining, or the product descriptions. All of it is there to tell you the story behind the cap. We hope that work comes through and that this little piece, our small work of art, if we may call it that, brings you real joy to wear. This is our first step with Japanese denim, and we hope it won't be our last. So again, that was in the big Sterkowski group. I'll give credit to that, brought by Stanley Sterkowski. And I just, again, when the hat makers, even one a little bit larger like Sterkowski, gets out there and is just involved with the groups and letting everybody know the why, I think that's amazing. So my hat's off to you, literally, Stanley, and thank you for that. And there has also been a lot of hubbub around the this drop in terms of the price points on this. One thing that I have seen a little bit of discussion around was the fact that this Japanese denim, this G.O.A.T denim, is just really highly sought after. It is not, from what I see, a mass-produced product, and it is extremely exclusive. So there's a couple things that go with that. One is obviously a much higher price point for Sterkowski to produce hats using this denim. But I've even seen discussions around saying that blue jeans made of this denim material, go for an excess of $1,000. So think of that, $1,000 for a pair of blue jeans. And here we are with these hats. So I'm also seeing a lot that they talk about where there's a big break-in period to these. There's a little bit of a, again, these are a very sort of a handmade sort of denim. There's the dyeing process, the indigo dye that's used on the denim, because of the way this denim is made, can kind of leach onto other things sometimes. So there's there's a lot of information. Again, if you're not on the Big Sterkowski page, I'm not going to go out there and reread everything from that page. There's a lot of great history of this particular Kuroki denim and what they're calling the Japanese denim, and the process of how it's made and how to maintain it. But everything I'm also seeing in a lot of Stanley Sterkowski's videos is this hat requires a break-in. So we're gonna kind of that's my little intro on this. I'm gonna unbox this thing and let's take a look at it. But again, this thing is hot off the press from Poland, and here it is. This is the duckbill, the flat cap, whatever you want to call it. It is the Buster Heavyweight, as it's dubbed on the website. And let's rip this thing open and get cooking, because this thing is so incredibly sought after. It's insane. So again, typical Sterkowski. It was in the box. It was a bag inside the box. But look at this hat. So one of the other videos I think that Stanley talked about a little bit is as this thing comes out, it's going to look incredibly flat. But there's a tuck-in, so you want to make sure that you untuck that back flap of the hat. Whether it's this hat or if you're getting the Shelby, there's a little tuck-in. I'm going to go ahead, and as you always see, Sterkowski does an amazing job wrapping these up. So I'm going to go ahead and take out all that extra stuff that they put in there. And wow, there's a pin with this and everything. I'm just overwhelmed, so I apologize that I'm a little frantic on this. This is just an incredibly sought after and cool review here. So again, as you look at this, a typical Sterkowski quality. You look at everything's straight down the middle. The stitching on this thing is insane, just as you would always expect. Again, after you tuck that out in the back, it doesn't have that just like that flat on profile anymore. It gives it more of that flat or duckbill profile that we would expect with this hat. And then last, as you kind of look in here, you're taking a look at that liner. Just a really awesome liner. This is also a part of their Centennial Edition caps, from what I understand. So you can see here they have that red sewn-in liner there, or the red sewn-in tag for the Sterkowski 100, 1926 to 2026. And let's take a look. I'm gonna kind of not be discreet about this, but let's pull this pin off here. Let's take a look. I didn't even know I was getting a pin, which is pretty cool. Let's see what we got here. Ah, this is awesome. If I can get it out of the packaging. So it's in one plastic sort of Ziploc bag, and then that's in another one. I'm going to try to show that on here and see if we can. Let's look at it this way. Heavyweight, 1926. You can kind of see that pin, and I hope that it's focusing in. But we're going to get ahead and get this thing on the table, show a closer look of it. I'm going to get that pin on the hat. Let's take off the old Sterkowski tag, and let's take a look. All right, guys, we have the Sterkowski Buster Heavyweight on the table here. Again, this is made from that Japanese denim, the Kuroki denim, highly sought after, highly coveted denim, extremely exclusive. So you can see the tags that we took off there. And again, I'm wearing a 59 centimeter. You'll be able to see that right there. And there's the tag from that. And as I mentioned before, this is a part of Sterkowski's 100th anniversary collection. So you can see the tag also from that, and the We're Turning 100 literature on that. One of the things I'm also reading about this hat is breaking this hat in. These are really unique hats, and that they all, based on the wear and the break-in, will all kind of develop unique characteristics. So in one of the videos I saw Stanley Sterkowski sort of showing off this hat, was he talked about, like, when you get this hat, he's like, just get it and start playing with it and just kind of break it in and just kind of, it's going to help break that denim in. And again, over time, this is really going to develop its own characteristics. And again, this denim feels really great. I mean, it's not a super heavy denim. It kind of has that soft feel to it. It already feels kind of broken in a way, but I can see what he's saying. Like, you can see the way it kind of, you might say it lays funny or needs steam. I don't think that's the case at all with this. This material feels insane. The stitching is great. Everything is symmetrical and down the center. And again, you can kind of see that heavyweight pin that I talked about before. I put that on the hat. You know, kind of drop in the comments where you like to put your pins. I always tend to put my pins right on the seam. That way, if I ever want to replace them, they kind of, you know, any potential holes or whatever is kind of right along the seam. But, you know, again, looking at this hat, the panels on this thing are great. All 6 panels look great. I love the sort of the color of the stitching with the denim. The back of this hat, again, you got to unfold that thing, but it looks solid. And then Sterkowski never disappoints with the insides of their hat. You know, again, the inner sort of, the inner ring, the inner headband looks great. The liner is all, you know, again, boxing related. I don't know how well you're able to see that on there. I'm going to put that up there like that so we can kind of see it a little bit. But it all is boxing history. So any of our boxing historians out there, you know, this is certainly going to ring and strike a bell with y'all. I wear a 59 centimeter typically in Sterkowski. My head measures a 58.5. Some of the other hat makers, again, typically I tend to get a 59 centimeter hat when available. If I have to, I will go down to a 58 and then stretch. But you know, in terms of Boston Scally, if that's your frame of reference, I typically wear a medium large in Boston Scally. So again, this thing just looks absolutely amazing. I don't want to wait any longer. Let's kind of get this thing on my head and let's get some scores on this thing. All right, everybody. So the moment we're all been waiting for. Let's get this thing on my head and see how this thing looks. So once again, we're looking at that Sterkowski Buster with the Japanese Kuroki denim. Let's get our little brim bend on here. I really like the way this denim feels. You never know with, you know, sort of, is denim going to be that super rigid? Is it going to be soft? This is really soft. And again, in terms of the maintenance on this, guys, this hat should come with an instruction manual based on what I'm reading. Like, there are so many things I've seen that people taking like cloths, you know, light colored cloths and rubbing the outside. They're talking about doing that to this denim to help with some of the, you know, kind of the break-in and that dye that may like leach a little bit from this type of denim. So again, I just, if you're going to invest in this hat or a hat like this, you definitely want to read up a little bit on Kuroki denim and how to manage and maintain that. I'm also reading that you really want to try to avoid washing this hat. You know, certainly if you have to wash the hat, you have to wash the hat, but about 6 months. They're suggesting you kind of want to hold off for about 6 months. But again, I keep talking. Let's get this thing on my lid. And holy crap, it is as awesome as you can imagine. This thing looks so good. Where's my pin? Did I lose my, oh, there it is. It's over on this side. I forgot I put it on this side. Just really good. Let me kind of spin around a little bit, do my Vanna White action. And I'll have to take a look at how that looks in the back, but this thing fits. It is just, again, I always gush about Sterkowski caps, and you're going to hear me gush about Sterkowski reviews I'm going to do all week. They are just top notch, absolutely off the chain. Quality wise, there are few, if any, hat makers out there that produce hats like Sterkowski. They just really do. And with that being said, let's jump into some scoring on this. Wow. I have the tingles thinking about how this thing's going to score. We might have our first Hall of Fame hat here, guys. It may be. We might be kicking off Sterkowski week with a Hall of Famer. So again, if you guys recall, I have a 5-tier scoring system. In each of the tiers, it is 1 to 10 that we score on. So tier 1, we are looking at comfort. Tier 2, we're looking at fit and function. Tier 3, we're looking at materials and craftsmanship. Tier 4, style and versatility and value. So let's talk about tier 1, comfort. The second I put this thing on, it sits right on my head, exactly where it needs to be. It has an amazing feel to it. Again, this denim, everything I'm reading is this thing is just going to get more comfortable, develop more personality, and just the way it wears in is the way, it's so unique. It is such a unique hat. Comfort wise, I'm going to give this thing, again, it's going to be a little warm for me right now, I think, in this type of the season. So in terms of comfort and wearability, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And again, that's no slight at all. This thing is super comfortable. It is right there. Is it the most comfortable hat I've ever worn? Maybe not, but it is probably in the top 5. It is an insanely comfortable hat. I'm going to give this thing a 9 out of 10. In terms of fit and function, how does this thing fit? What's the adjustability? Again, steady as she comes. Every time I get a Sterkowski, a 59 is a 59. There's no variation in sizes. Their quality control is off the chain. So fit and function, guys, I'm going to give you a 10 on this one. And again, I am stingy with 10s. You're getting a 10 on fit and function. Just, I can't ignore the quality. And just that the fact that you send out a 59 that is a 59 every time. And this, there are a few words. Materials and craftsmanship. I'm gonna laugh a little bit because this one is, in terms of the materials, is probably the most exclusive hat I own now. When I saw the UPS driver driving up earlier, I literally felt like a kid on Christmas Eve, like tingling, like, oh my God, Santa's here. Holy cow. This thing is, the materials and craftsmanship, from the stitching to the material itself to the inner liner, it's a 10. It is absolutely a 10. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Absolutely a 10. Style and versatility. Again, this one I may struggle to wear in the summertime, but I may just kind of, depending on the situation, I may just say the heck with it, and I'm gonna throw this thing on because it is a really good lid. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think there's certain scenarios and again, to me, it's probably more of a 3-season hat. A summertime is going to be rough. Like right now, it's like 96 degrees outside. Probably would be a little rough wearing a denim hat. And frankly, I don't want to stink it up, sweat it up, oil it up. I want to wear it, but I don't want to abuse it and destroy it. So 9 out of 10 on this one for me. And then lastly, value. And I know in the past, this one came from Poland, and I know in the past I've talked about, it's tough kind of paying the tariffs and the shipping and everything from Poland. I don't care on this one. This one is so unique and so different that, yeah, it'd be great to have it from the United States. I think I've knocked down the perceived value just because, again, it costs a little extra to ship, a little extra to pay tariffs on and stuff like that. It's a 9 out of 10. I'm going to knock it down. At one point, I've knocked it down 3 points to a 7 out of 10 in the past. This thing ships from the United States. It's a 10 out of 10. But again, I get it. It is what it is. They're producing these in Poland. And keep doing you, man. This is unbelievable. So if my calculations are correct, if I can harness my inner Doc Brown, calculating gigawatts, this is a 47 out of 50. I'm floored. Absolutely floored. Let me review. So comfort, this is a 9. Fit and function, it's a 10. Materials and craftsmanship is a 10. Style and versatility, a 9. Value, a 9. If I am not doing Common Core math, I'm doing regular math here, it looks like a 47 out of 50. And you know damn well where that puts this hat. This is the first Hall of Fame hat that I have reviewed. I'm not saying it's the only Hall of Fame hat out there. I'm just saying that of the hats that I've reviewed, this is the top of the line so far. 47 out of 50. I don't know how many of these are available. I haven't looked in the last day or two. If you haven't picked one up, you need to pick one up. If you are a hat collector, if you covet really cool hats, you want them in, this is one you want in your collection. This is a splurge special. Doesn't matter the shipping, doesn't matter the tariffs. It is such a unique hat with a unique material by an amazing hat company. I'm out of words, guys. I'm just out of words. There is nothing else I can say about this hat. But I do highly suggest that if you pick one of these up, do some research on how to maintain these things. And again, I can't wait. I'm gonna play with this thing all day. I'm probably be down there kind of roughing it up a little bit because this thing, it's cool. It's so cool. If you guys are still with me, love to see some comments on this. What do you guys think of this one? I do have the Shelby coming. I decided that I was going to get, after I kind of saw everything, I'm more of a flat cap guy. And so I kind of went after the flat cap right away. And then I got a little fear of missing out on the Shelby heavyweight. So I ordered that one too, but that one's going to be a little bit longer to come in. So I wanted to get the review out for this one today. Let me know what you think. Sort of like and subscribe. Make sure you get out there and like and subscribe. And also share this thing out. Yeah, I'm going to have this out to the groups today. Throw some comments out there. Let me know what y'all think. Who ordered it? Who didn't order it? Who wants to still order it? Throw some comments in there. I want to hear from y'all. So again, Brian, BrimsAtTheBeach. It was a hell of a start to Sterkowski week, man. So we got lots of other Sterkowskis ready here to review. We're going to keep doing that. You're going to get probably a Sterkowski review from me every day this week. Hope to see you all here. Thanks and for all the love and support, guys. Take care.
Wearing peaky swishes, funky brims and
That's me.